Okay, so in this video, let's try to answer a very frequently asked SQL interview problem. That is, you are given two different tables with some data and you are asked to find the number of records that will be returned by using different type of joins on these two tables. That is inner join, left join, right join and full outer join. Now the tricky part is that the data that is present in these two tables is having some duplicate values, it might have some null values, etc. And also, you are not allowed to query the data. You just need to look at these two table data and figure out the number of records that will be returned when you do these type of joins. Now, in order to correctly answer this particular question, you need to completely understand how internally SQL does different type of joins. And that is exactly what I will be explaining in this video. And I'm going to explain that by taking up two different data sets. So let's start with scenario 1. As you can see, I have been given two different tables, table 1 and table 2. And I can see that in table 1 I have 7 records and in table 2 I have 6 records. Now what I need to do is, just by looking at these two tables and the data in these two tables, I need to figure out how many records will be returned by each of these joins. So inner join, left join, right join, full join, and we shall also see what will happen with natural join and cross join. Now what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to be explaining you how SQL internally does the join, and then we'll try to figure out the number of records returned by each of these join, and then I'm going to execute the query that I have already created, basically the tables that I have already created with the same data, and we'll see if whatever explanation that I have given, if I'm getting the correct output using these queries or not. Okay, so straight away let's start with the first one, that is inner join. Okay, now what exactly is an inner join? Inner join will always fetch the matching records. So in the two tables that I have, I can see that both these tables only have one column. Okay, and I'm going to call these columns maybe, let's say, an ID column. Okay, that is what I have done in these two tables. I have created the tables with the same ID column. Okay, now both tables just have one column. So when I'm doing an inner join, I can join these two tables only by using these two columns, right? Now I know inner join will return the matching record. So how SQL basically starts processing your queries is, it's going to take, let's say, a left table, and each record from the left table, it's going to try to join with every record in the right table. Okay, so my left table here is my table 1, and let's say my right table is table 2. So every record from left table is going to join with every record from the right table, and wherever there is a match, it's going to return that record. Okay, so here I can say I'm going to start with the value 1, that is the very first record, that is 1, right? So this one, SQL will try to see if this value 1 is present in any of the record in the right table, that is in my table 2. Okay, and I can see that it's present here as well as it's present here. Okay, so this will basically do a match, so it's going to return one record, and this will again do a match, so this is also going to return one record. Okay, and once it processes these two records, then this first record from the left table is going to try to match with the other 4 records from my right table. But here you can see the value is not 1. So 1 will try to match with 2. It's not going to do a match. And again, 1 is going to match with 2. Again, it's not going to do a match. Same thing will happen with 4, and same thing will happen with null, because 1 is not equal to null, right? So all of these matches is going to return 0 records. Okay, this will return 0, 0 and 0 here. Okay, so in total, the very first record of my left table will only join with 2 records from my right table. So the number of records returned here will be 2. Okay, and the same thing will happen with this. So once SQL processes the very first record of your left table, it's then going to move to the second record of your left table, and the second record of the left table will then try to match with every other record from the right table. Okay, so in this case, this one will again match with this, and it will match with this, but it will not match with any of this, right? Because the values are different, right? And hence this will again return 2 records. And the same thing will happen for the third record in the left table. Okay, so this will again fetch 2 records, because this will only match with these 2 records, and it will not match with any of these records. Now, once SQL has processed these 3 records, SQL will then try to process the 4th record in the left table, that is 2. Right, this 2 will try to match with every other record from the right table. So 2 will try to match with 1. It's not going to do a match, so this will return 0 records. Okay, and let me clear out all of this, and then this 2 will try to match with this 1 here. This will again return 0 records, but this 2 will match with this 2 in the right table, so this will return 1 record, and this 2 will again match with this 2 value here, and this will again return 1 record. Okay, but 2 will not match with 4 and null, so this will return 0 and 0. Okay, so I can say that this 2 present in my left table will match with 2 records from my right table. So this will again return 2 records. Okay, once these 4 records are processed, the next thing is to process these 3 records, and you can see here the value is 3, and this 3 is not present anywhere in my right table, so it will not match with any of the record in my right table. So this will basically return me 0 records, and the same thing will happen with this 3, that is the 6th record in my left table. This will also return 0 records, and this will also return 0 records. So what I can say is, by doing the inner join, only these many records will get returned, because only these will get matched with the right table records here, right? So this is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is 8. I hope this is clear. Now let's try to verify this by executing the query for the tables that I've already created, the same table with the same data. You can see here I have created table 1 with the 7 records here, and the table 2 with the 6 records, exactly the same data as I have shown here. Okay, now when I do a inner join here, now you can see that it is fetching me 8 records, and you can see that the only records that are matching are 1 and 2, because these are the only 2 records or values that is present in both these tables, and inner join will only fetch matching records. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and this is what is the output of inner join. Now let's try to move on to the next join, that is left join. Now when it comes to left join, I had previously made a tutorial video on all type of joins, and there I had given a formula for how you can figure out the result of a left join, right join or full join. Okay, there's a very simple formula that you can remember in order to completely understand how all of this outer join works. So we shall try to solve this problem by using the same formula that I had given in one of my previous videos. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so this is my left join query. I'll just move this to the top here, and there was a formula that I had given. So I say that left join will always return. So basically what a left join is, it's basically telling SQL to first do a inner join. Okay, so left join is basically first you need to do an inner join. Okay, and then additionally you need to fetch, so additionally, or basically I can tell, fetch any additional records from left table which is not present in right table. Okay, so basically this is the formula that you need to remember. So left join will always try to do a inner join first, that is it's going to fetch all the matching records first, and once it fetches all the matching records, additionally it is again going back to the left table, and it's going to see are there any additional records in the left table which is only present in the left table but not present in the right table. If there are, then all those records will also get fetched. So let's see in this particular data what do we have. So first of all, let me clear down all of this so we don't get confused. So I told you that left join will first do an inner join. So straight away I can tell it will always, at least it's going to return 8 records. Okay, plus it's going to see are there any additional records in the left table which is not present in the right table. So here I can see that this 1 and 2 will join with the records in the right table, so I can ignore this. But then I have some records with values 3. This 3 is only present in the left table, but it is not present in my right table. Okay, and this 3 is present in 3 different records. Okay, so what I can say is, here the inner join will return 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and this is the additional records in the left table which is not present in the right table. So this 3 will return 1 record, this 3 will again return 1 record, and this 3 will again return 1 record. Okay, so I can just tell this is 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 3, that is, I can say 8 plus 3, this should probably return 11 records. Okay, why? This 8 is returned from the matching records, that is from inner join, plus this 3 is the additional records in the left table which is not present in the right table. Okay, and that is exactly the formula that I have given. If you just remember this formula, all of these outer joins will become very easy for you to answer in the future. Okay, so now let's try to execute this query and see if we are getting 11 records or not. And you can see that I am getting 11 records. Okay, now if you look at the data carefully, you can see here these 8 records are returned due to inner join. Okay, basically these are all the matching records, and these last 3 records are the 3 additional records which are only present in the left table but not present in the right table. How can you say that? Because you can see that only this ID column here is basically coming from my left table. Okay, because I put star here, so all the columns from the left table will be in the beginning and all the columns from the right table will be at the end. Here, since only one column is present, I can say like this. So this is coming from my left table, it has the value 3, but right table has no matching records, so it will return null. Okay, so whenever you are doing a left join, all the matching records only present in the left table will have the values that is present in the left table, but since there is no matching record in the right table, those columns will return as null. This is very important to remember because you can use this to apply certain filters. Okay, so anyways, I'm not going to go into all of that, but I hope you understand how left join works. Okay, now once you have understood left join, the right join is kind of like exact opposite of left join. So what I can say is, if I go back to my pg admin here, the formula is again exactly the same as left join. So I can just do one thing, I can just copy it here, or maybe I'll just write it. So right join is equal to, basically it will first try to do a inner join, it will fetch all the matching records, plus additionally it fetches any records from right table which is not present in left table. Okay, so this is the formula, exactly opposite as left join. Okay, so it fetches records from right table which is not present in the left table. So if I go back to my Excel here, you can see here this will match with all the records, basically some of the records in the table too. So inner join, so this will still hold true, right? So I'll just remove this. So basically what I can say is right join will again say 8, okay, plus, okay, so this 8 is returned from the inner join, plus any additional records from the right table which is not present in the left table. So here this 1 and 2 is present in both the tables, so I can ignore that, but this 4 is only present in the right table, and this null is also only present in the right table but not present in the left table. Okay, so here I can just tell this will fetch one additional record and this will fetch one additional record. Okay, so I can just tell 8 plus 2, so this should probably return me 10 records. Okay, now let's go back to my pg admin and try to execute this and see if my understanding is right. And if I execute this, you can see that I am getting 10 records. Okay, so these first 8 records are returned from the inner join, that is all the matching records, and these 2 records are the records which is only present in the right table, this 4 and null. Okay, don't confuse this null with this null present here. This null is the null value that is present here. Okay, that is this particular record here. Okay, and this null is the other record that is only present in the right table but not present in the left table. Okay, and why am I getting null here is because there is no matching record for these 2 values in the left table, hence it's returning as null. Okay, so I hope this is clear, and I hope you are clear on the right join. Okay, so this is what my right join will return. Now let's move on to full join. Okay, now full join, the simplest way to remember full join is also through a formula, and let me explain that formula. So what I'm going to do is, again I'm just going to go here and I'm going to write a formula here. So I'm just going to say full join is equal to, first of all it will do a inner join. Okay, it will fetch all the matching records, plus you can tell that it will fetch additional records from left table which is not present in right table. Okay, this is one thing. Okay, so I'm just going to move this to the right here. Now this is exactly what I mentioned when I explained the left join, right? But additionally in a full join it will kind of do an inner join, then it will try to do what was written from left join, then it will also try to fetch any records that is present in the right table, okay, which is not present in the left table. So I can just tell fetch additional records from right table which is not present in left table. Okay, so basically in simple words what I can tell is full join will return all the data from inner join, left join and right join. So let's try to understand this with this example. So what I can say is full join, of course inner join will return 8 records, so 8 plus, so that because all the matching records here, I know that this is going to return 8 matching records. Okay, additionally it's going to go into the left table and see are there any additional records in the left table which is not present in the right table. So I know that these are the 3 records which is only present in the left table. So here I can straight away tell these are the 3 records which is coming from my left table, okay, which is not present in the right table. And additionally again it will go into the rightmost table and see are there any additional records in the right table which is not present in my left table, that is these 2 records, right? So again it's going to do a plus 2 and this is going to be the total result returned from full join. So that is 8 plus 3 is 11, 11 plus 2 is 13. Okay, so the total output here will be 13. So now let's try to execute this full join here, and if I execute you can see that I am getting these 13 records. Okay, so I hope this full join concept is clear. You just need to remember these formulas. I'm going to share all of these scripts, these formulas, everything in my blog. So if you want, you can refer to that and try to better understand that. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now additionally, there are two more joins, natural join and cross join. Let's try to look at that. Okay, now before I can go into natural join, let me try to explain cross join. Now I know most of you guys will already know what a cross join is. What cross join basically does is, it does not bother about what values are present in the left and the right table. What it's going to do is, for every record in the left table, it's going to match with every other record in the right table. So in other words, when SQL is going to process one record from the left table, this record will match with every other record from the right table. Even though the values are different, it will still try to match. It will match. Okay, so this one here will match with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this will match with 6 record, this will match with 6 record, this will match with 6 records, 6, 6, 6 and 6. Okay, so this 6 plus 6 plus 6, again this, that is I think total 42. Okay, so it's kind of like it is a Cartesian product. So every record from left table will match with every record from the right table. So this will return 42 records. Okay, it basically does not bother about the values. It just looks at the number of records and it just multiplies. Okay, so this is what I have mentioned here. So if I execute my cross join, you can see that I am getting 42 records. Okay, so if I go down, you can see I have 42 records. Okay, every record from my left table matches with every other record from my right table. Okay, now I hope this is pretty clear. Cross join, nothing too complex about this. But what exactly is a natural join? Now natural join is a join which is not supported in all the RDBMS. As far as I know, in Microsoft SQL Server it is not supported, and maybe there are some other RDBMS where it is not supported. And this is not a recommended join. It's basically not recommended to use this join, but of course, if you might be asked about this in interviews, so I'll try to cover this. Okay, now what exactly a natural join does is, natural join, when you are doing a natural join, it's similar to a cross join. You don't need to specify a join condition. You can see here, I just mentioned the left table and the right table. Okay, and I put a natural join here. Okay, but I have not given any on clause, so there is no join condition. Okay, so how SQL naturally does the join is, it does the join based on the column name. Okay, now if I go back here and if I see here, my table 1 has column ID. Okay, and my table 2 also has the column ID. So natural join will just go into both these tables and it will see if both these tables are having any column which is sharing the same name. Okay, in this case, both the tables are having one column each and the column names are same, that is ID. Since the column names are same, it will try to do an inner join based on that column. Okay, so when it will try to do an inner join, it will try to fetch all the matching records. So this will fetch 8 records. Okay, since 8 records, if same column name exist. Okay, so maybe I'll just move this to the right. If same column name exist. Okay, or in natural join there is one additional thing. So if same column name exists, then it will do a inner join. Okay, that is all the matching records will be written. But if there are no matching column names, okay, so if same column name does not exist, okay, if same column does not exist, then the output will be basically the output of a cross join. Okay, so what happens is, if there are same column name exists, then it is going to do an inner join. But if the column names are not same in both these tables, there is no matching column names in both these tables, then it will do a cross join. Okay, that is, it's going to return the result as 42. Okay, so let's try to understand that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move this to the right and I'll just expand this so you can see this. Okay, so let me explain that. So if I execute this, I'm getting 8 records. Why? Because both these tables are having the column ID, the column names are same. So it's going to do a join based on the ID column and it's going to return all the matching records. That is fine. But let's say I change the column name of one of these tables. So I'll say alter table underscore 1 and I'll say rename column ID to ID underscore new. Okay, just for example. And if I execute this, now the column name is different. So if I execute table 1, you can see that the table 1, the column name is ID new. Okay, and in table 2, the column name is ID. So both these tables does not have any common column names, right? In that case, when I run the same natural join query, now if I execute this, now you can see that I'm getting 42 records. Okay, so I'm getting 42 records. Why? Basically, since there were no common column names, natural join did a cross join. Okay, so that is why it's going to return 42 records. Okay, try to remember this. What is the difference in natural join? So what happens when there are same column names in both the tables, and what happens when the column names are basically there is no same column name in both the tables. Okay, so I hope all of this is very clear, not just the output, but also you understand the background of how SQL is basically doing all of these joins. Now let me quickly go to the scenario 2. That is, I have another scenario here, and this was actually the input table data which was shared to me by many people in the comments. I think they faced this exact data in the interviews. So let's try to solve this particular problem. So I have been given two different tables, table 3 and table 4, and you can see I have 7 records in table 3 and I think 5 records in table 4. Okay, and you can see here I have 1 1 1 5 times, and then I have 2 records with null, and then here I have 1 1 1 3 times, then I have a record with value 2 and a record with value null. Okay, so what will be the output of inner join? So again, let's try to understand or solve this from scratch. So SQL is going to take very first record from the left table. It's going to process this record or try to match this record with every other record from the right table. So this one will try to match with every other record here. So this one will match with this. It will again match with this, and it will again match with this. So I can say that this is going to match with 3 records. Okay, and this one will again match with these 3 records. It will not match with these 2. So again this will return 3 records. Okay, and the same thing will happen for the one here, and the same thing for the one here, and the same thing for the one here. Okay, now when it comes to null, this is the tricky part that you need to remember. In SQL, and I think in every other programming languages, two null values are never the same. Okay, basically null is kind of a representation of no value. Okay, and you can never treat two null values to be the same. Even though this looks like exactly the same, they are actually not same for SQL. Okay, so this null will not match with this null. So this null will not match with any of these records, and it will not match with any of these records. So this will return 0 records, and this will also return 0 records. So the output of my inner join should probably be 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus this one. I think this is 15. Okay, so this will return 15 records. Okay, now straight away let's try to see the output of all of this, and then we'll try to execute the query in our PG admin to see if my output is and if my understanding is right or wrong. Okay, so what about left join? So left join will again do a inner join. Okay, plus additionally it is going to go into the left table and see any additional records in the left table which is not present in the right table. Okay, in this case this one is already matched with some records here, so that is fine. These two are the only values which did not match with any records here, right? Even though I have a null value here, I told you two nulls are not same, so I cannot consider these to be a match. Okay, so these are the only two values which is only present in the left table but not present in the right table. So I can just tell 15 plus 2, which is probably equal to 17. Now similar to the left join, the next thing is the right join. So again, right join will first do a inner join, so that is 15 matching records plus any additional records from the right table which is not present in the left table. So here I can say that this 2 is not present in the left table and this null is not present in the left table, right? So these two records. So again I can just tell 15 plus 2, that it should again return 17 records. Okay, now what about a full join? So full join will initially do a inner join. Okay, 15 plus it will go into the left table and see any additional records, that is 2. Okay, plus it will go into the right table and see for any additional record, that is again these 2 records. So this will again be plus 2. Okay, so this will totally be 19 records. Okay, so let me just move this to the right. Okay, 15 plus 2 plus 2, 19. Okay, now when it comes to, okay, before natural join, let's go to cross join. So cross join is basically every record from the left table will match with every other record from the right table. So here I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 into 5. 7 into 5 is 35. So this should be 35 records. Okay, now natural join, since I am treating that both these tables are having the same column names, it's going to do an inner join. So this should return me 15 records. Okay, if the column names were different, then it would return 35 records. I hope that is clear. Okay, so this is basically what I have come up with. Now let's go to PG admin and try to execute the query. So I have created these two tables, table 3 with the 7 records and table 4 with the 5 records as I have shown here. Okay, now let's try to do each of these join queries one by one and see if my output is right. Okay, so this first I'm doing inner join, and you can see that I'm getting 15 records. Okay, I hope this is clear. You can see here I'm getting the 15 records. Okay, so, and I think I have mentioned 15 records here. Okay, now let's try to do a left join and see if I'm getting 17 records, and you can see that I am getting 17 records. So my understanding and explanation is correct, and that is exactly what I have mentioned here. Okay, now let's try to see a right join. So when I do right join, again you can see that I am getting 17 records. Okay, so again exactly what I mentioned here. And now let's do a full join. So I should hopefully get 19 records. So if I execute this, you can see that I am getting 19 records. Okay, so that is also right. Now when I do a natural join, I am getting 15 records. Okay, so that is exactly what I mentioned here. And finally, when I do a cross join, so let me do a cross join here, and now you can see that I'm getting 35 records. Okay, so basically everything that I mentioned here is correct, and I hope the explanation is pretty clear for all of you. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other feedback or any other data set that you would like me to solve, definitely share them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon in the next one. Bye.